Stable chat today here in almost playing at home. Scotty Rains joins me in, well, I'll say Morong, just out down the road from me. Firstly, welcome, Scotty.
Thanks for having me, Paul.
No, thank you. I also masquerade as a horse dentist, and we've been here doing a couple of horses, teeth, but wanted to catch up and have a chat. You've been having a terrific run with one horse, but I mean, you've trained horses for a long time. But Angus Indiana, what a run you've been having, mate. It's been brilliant.
It's been a little bit surreal, actually, the ride he's taken us on. Only getting him back in August of last year, he's done a super job for us, won quite a few races, and yeah, hope he continues.
Could be wrong. I think he's had 35 starts for you. He's won 11 of those. He'd had 10 starts prior for the one win. How did you come to get him? What's the backstory to the horse?
So he was just advertised on the trading ring, and he was a horse that I'd seen race up in New South Wales, and my partner Ebony, she said, "Oh, this horse is for sale. You should see if you can get it. It's within our budget," which was I think he was on there for $3,000. So yeah, I'd watched his replays and thought he'd be a nice sort of horse for down here.
He'd won a race. I think it was Young. Was it Young or Parks? One of those anyway. He'd won the one race from 10 starts, but fair to say his form was nothing special. Obviously, that win he must have showed a little bit for you.
Yeah, he just watching his replays, he just looked like a horse that was fairly dour, and they're the sort of style of horses I like to train. You know, the ones that you can put into the race, and yeah, he just looked all right from his replays.
Pinch yourself now, like I mean, the ride he's taking you on. When did he start to show you, that little bit extra?
Well, when I first got him, I put him into a concession drivers race, and Sophie Jeffries drove him for me, who's Kyle Marshall's partner, and he sort of didn't know how to race as such. He's sort of one of those horses that he only does what he has to, and after he'd come back from that start, I thought I've got to do a little bit more with him here at home, and that just sort of, I guess it twigged with him, just sort of doing a bit more, getting him a little bit more work.
So what did he do with Sophie? Didn't do much at all, or the other? No. He did it?
No, he just was out the back, and he sort of didn't want to go. He's not a real good chaser. He sort of wants to be up on the pace, and just after that start, it was at Ballarat and over the 2200, and he just didn't want to go, so put a bit more work into him and sort of worked him out. He took a little bit of figuring out on what sort of style of horse he was, and he's just that dour stayer, and he's starting to develop a little bit of speed too, which is good.
Well, it's a funny thing. Do they develop speed, or because he is so strong and you get in those races where they run him stronger, now all of a sudden people are seeing him because he probably doesn't have to do as much work as what they used to do when they were in those lesser grades. We must say too, big shout out to Sophie. We're not even crack at her or anything like that. She does a great job too with Cranbourne Harness Racing Club, with a lot of the media stuff and all the rest behind. You've had a great run with him. You've had a couple of drivers on him, but it really struck a chord with Sean O'Sullivan. How did that sort of come about?
Well, I sort of, when I first got him, it was the season had just ticked over when I was going to drive him, and I hadn't got my medical done. I couldn't get into the doctors. So I had him nominated for Melton, and this is the day before the race, and the board rang me up and said, "Oh, you can't drive him until you have your medical." I said, "Okay, not a problem." I had a look who was there, and Mick Bellman was there. So I called Mick Bellman, and he's driven a couple of horses for me in the past. I like to use Mick because he's very experienced, and he'll sort of tell you what he thinks of them. And the ones I've put him on have been problems of mine, and Mick's just sort of giving me his advice with them. So I thought, I'll put him on one that I think goes a little bit better. And he happened to win that day, and I never like to sack a winning driver, so he drove him quite a bit for me. I think he won, he won maybe 3 or 4 in a row on him. Yep. And then after that, he got up in the grades a little bit, and I thought I might need to utilise the claim. And I've known the O'Sullivan family for a while now, get on great with Jimmy and Teresa, and young Sean just, he got the nod, and we've got a great affiliation going, and I hope it keeps up.
Oh, definitely. I mean, he's spelling at the minute. We'll touch on that in a sec, but I think it's great. He's a good kid, Sean. He's a little bit, I suppose, like an onion. You nearly got to unpeel him to get to understand him, because what you see, he's a little bit shy, a little bit quiet, and I'm, but he actually, there's a fair bit of fun. I was lucky enough, I got an interview with him and Shannon one night, and they're taking the mickey out of each other. Yep. But he's an asset to the industry, because I mean, he presents so well. He drives so well. He's so very well spoken, albeit that he doesn't talk a lot. So it must be good for you to be able to get him, a chance on a really nice horse, like a horse that's progressing and hopefully, like you say, going to continue to progress.
Yeah, definitely. He's a wonderful young man, and I've said it before. He's a credit to his parents, and along with Shannon as well. They're a great family, and he does a good job. He's really. I could say he's probably having a breakout season this year. He's getting a lot of support from regular trainers, or driving regularly, sorry, I should say, for those trainers. And I know Glenn Bull puts him on a lot of his horses, and a few other trainers. Sharon Hahn, I think, puts him on a bit, and I just like to support the young talent in the industry, because I'm not making a career out of driving, and I enjoy driving, but the young people are the future of the industry, and I think we just got to give them a go when we can.
Is that sort of where it changed a bit, like with this horse, and all of a sudden? Because I was going to say that you've always driven your own horses. You don't drive bad. You don't do, as far as I've seen, don't do anything wrong or anything along those lines. But probably time's passed, and I don't mean that in a nasty way. Like, is that where you're sort of at the minute, where you can put these other guys on, and if you have to drive them, you'll drive them yourself? Oh,
look, I enjoy driving myself, but it's probably a case where I don't drive very regularly, and it's one of those things that you want to do regularly to stay sharp. And a lot of the form that you do is not only of the horses, it's of the drivers in the race, and I think that the people that drive regularly have that advantage. So especially with the young drivers, if you can utilise the claim and give them opportunity, I think that's probably one of the better things we can do as a trainer, is give them a go.
He won at Melton 3 weeks ago now, and he's been out in the paddock. I mean, was that as good a win as he's had? I think it was a little bit of a shock for a few people, yet he won like he belonged in the field. But is that been his best win so far?
I would say it's probably his most comfortable win, or one thereof, because he's always had to do a lot of work. He's quite a versatile sort of horse. He's won from behind, he's won from in front, sat parked, and it was just nice to have a bit of 1-1 cover. But I think probably his best win was probably at Shepparton over the 26.90 there, where he was peppered out in front, and they ran quite strong sectionals, and he just managed to powered away actually in the finish, and ran 1.5 off the track record there. So.
They need to have more of those races, actually. We unfortunately drew the one, and we were scratched out of that race. But I think those races, and you don't know what they do. It's funny you say that. Like, that might have been the race that really changed him. You said before you had to, and then all of a sudden he knows that he can do it, the horse himself. Like, so Sean knows he can do it, the horse knows he can do it, and away they go.
Absolutely. I think the horse has given Sean a lot of confidence in the fact that he can drive him quite tough, and he won't let him down. Yeah. So... that race it probably was, even though he won quite well at Melton in a final, he was 3 wide for quite a while and had to come out parked and still managed to win. But I think it's just the confidence of knowing the horse won't let you down when you put him into the race.
How do you go as a watcher now, like sitting on the sidelines? No good?
Terrible. I'm a terrible spectator. It's just... I don't get nervous driving in races, but sitting on the sidelines, it's hard. It's hard, but I suppose you engage a driver with the confidence that they're going to do well. So you've just got to trust them. Yeah,
it does get easier, but I think it's always sort of harder, because they're your pride and joy. And I think when you only have a small team of horses, that's the one thing that people don't realise. Like, this horse, you're invested in the horse, you want him to win, financially, but you also want him to win just for the horse, so people can say, geez, this horse is a really nice horse.
Oh, absolutely. Look, I know he's no leap to fame, but he's our leap to fame. So, he's he's quite, I guess you could say, progressive, if you want to use that word. Like I think he can go on to bigger and better things. How far he goes is only time will tell. But yeah, he's definitely a horse that I think we can tackle the Country Cup circuit with, hopefully.
Well, that's what I was going to say, especially early on. You've got the Sinana, the Gumbauers, Bort Cups, those ones over that longer trip.
Yeah.
You never know how you might go. I mean, they're on the back of your mind, I gather. And then if he steps up to those, you never know where you might end up. The Charlton Cup, one of those sort of races.
Absolutely. I think I don't think he'd be up to your higher class cups, your Bendigos and Ballarats and things like that. But definitely the long trip is his caper. And your Gumbauers, Borts, as you're saying, your Wedderburns and things like that. That's what we'll be aiming for, and in between, probably just race him in town at Melton.
Been in the game for a little while. We won't show up your age or anything along those lines, but is this as much fun as you had in the game for a while?
Oh, absolutely. I love getting these sort of horses that you could say that they're recycled. I get recycled sort of horses, and managing to win races with them. That's pretty much all I've done in the past, because getting the expensive horses out of New Zealand that's not in our budget. So yeah, getting these cheaper horses and winning races is as much thrill as you can have, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, and as you said, leap to fame. Before that, you're not going to get those bred horses even going to the yearling sale, so sometimes it's a matter of going there. You've only got one other horse in work, or only one horse in work at the minute, because he's out spelling, but have you got many more on the books?
No, just that little fella there. He's one a homebred.
Yep.
And he's probably 4 weeks away from a trial, so by the time he starts racing, I'll have Angus Indiana probably halfway back to the races, and I'm always on the lookout for new horses, so if one pops up, we might have a look at purchasing him.
Absolutely, you do a great job, and you're always in your purple colours, white, and that's where I think you and Shawnee get along so well too. You got very similar colours.
Purple and white connection. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. Well, it could be. You never know, mate. Well done. It's great to see. Unfortunately, I was in New Zealand a couple of times, and it's bad. Like as a crow flies, I live about 4 k's from where you are, and I haven't been able to catch up with you while you were having that great run. But I think it's great. It's a great little story. It's what harness racing is about. We all want to leap to fame. There's no worries there at all. But as you said, he is your leap to fame right at the minute, and you just enjoy the ride. But I think it's the fun that you can have along the way as well, which is so good.
Absolutely. I think you don't have to be a millionaire to get into the industry. If you've got a limited budget. There's always there's a horse for everyone, and there's a race for most horses too. So if you win a restricted race, it's just as much thrill as winning in town for me. So yeah.
Absolutely. We must say well done to Dave Van Ryn too. He'll tell us off if we don't give him a plug, because Dave. I mean, you train here with Dave. You help him out. He helps you out as well. So
yeah, absolutely.
Making the feed. So and that's what the game's about. Like it's a hard game to get a start sometimes, and it's a hard game to get a roll on. So got to celebrate it when we can.
Absolutely. I think if you can try to surround yourself with good people, good things will happen. And Dave and Christy and the girls out here, they're brilliant, so everyone works in together well, and yeah, hopefully we can get plenty of winners and have a good time.
Scotty, thank you very much, mate. Well done, and keep the ride. Enjoy it.
Thanks very much, Paul.